It's December, and as can be indicated by the Christmas decorations around me, we are in the end of the year, and I see a lot of people posting on social media their yearly recap, showing how they have run a million marathons and achieved so many things. It's time to also make our plans or resolutions for the year to come, and I wanted to add my 5 cents to this topic and introduce a thought to you that I have followed throughout 2025 and share a little bit about how I approach differently setting goals for 2025. How was my experience, and if I recommend doing it this way. First of all, I want to preface this by saying that my idea right now about many things is that first, in order to achieve something, you need to create an internal capacity. So you have to first expand internally, and then the external will follow, or at least it will be much easier for you to go after the possibilities and options that life presents in front of you if you are ready for that. And my 2025 was actually the first year that I didn't set too many goals in terms of numbers or things that I wanted to achieve, but more directed towards the way that I wanted to feel. And I loved doing it this way because, at least for me, I don't function well under pressure because I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. And when I create opportunities and capacities instead of pressure, I tend to function way better. This year for me was an experimental year, and I wanted to see what happens if I just let myself be. And spoiler alert, it was really one of the best year. Like, I don't want to brag too much here because this video is not about that. I have made reflections like on my Instagram throughout the year about things that I have been achieving, and you can go there and look at it because I don't want to, just appear here once a year and like talk about how awesome I am and how much I have achieved. But I want to talk more about the process and maybe give you some ideas of how you can have a gentler 2026, which might not even be less productive. It doesn't have to be, but it just might be gentler. So, yeah, I want to preface with the idea that creating the internal capacity for things is important. And I also want to say that it's much easier to follow like a little goal. So if you want to set a big goal for your 2026, I would recommend splitting it into smaller goals. So like each month, or first of all you like divide it into quarters, and then you divide it into months, and then maybe you divide it into like weeks, if you're that crazy. I'm not that crazy. For me, the goal for 2025 was expanding my internal capacity because I know that a lot of changes are coming for me in 2026 and 27, and I just wanted to be ready for that and be in my best internal and external shape to improve my relationship with my body, to improve my relationship with rest, and in general to kind of become a version of myself that is ready for the changes that are coming. And I will go month by month because I decided that I can take almost anything for 1 month. So like I took it as an experiment, and I decided that each month I will take a habit, a good habit that is kind of directed at enhancing my life quality, and I would try it for just a month and see how it goes. So in January I decided to start my mornings with positive affirmations. It was the first thing that I would listen to in the morning. You can go on here on YouTube and look for them. I used the ones that were like between 10 or 15 minutes because I didn't want the first thing that I bombarded myself in the morning to be some information. I wanted just like a chill, a nice space for myself. And I really liked it. And this habit stick with me for the rest of the year. In February and March, don't ask me how it is related, but I had babysat a cat for my friend. And it led to me rethinking the entire way that I relate to my food. But I decided to start eating better. I mean, I was already eating like better than I would say 98% of the people, but I wanted to improve like the carb to fat to protein ratio because I think I was consuming way too many carbs and too little like fat and protein. So I started doing that. And I know that like food is a sensitive topic, and to me it also kind of was at some point in my life, but I decided to like focus on that. And I revised and reconsidered a lot of the things that I was consuming. And I took 2 months to do it because it's just like a more fundamental change. And I also sticked to that. And I have to say that it was a very, very, very good decision, because now my relationship with food, with my body and how it looks and my weight and everything, like I am super, I don't think I've ever been in better shape, to be honest, than I am now. And I'm 32. In April, I realized that I was overworking myself a lot. So I decided starting to take 1 day a week off, like no excuses, no studying, no working, no nothing. I wish I could say that I stuck with it for the rest of the year, but I can say that I did stick with it for at least like 4 more months, because in summer it's just easier to take a day off and like go to a lake or a park and like be away. When you are in winter, like at home for most of your days, it's difficult not to do stuff that is productive because it's just there. I try to take my rest more seriously, though, I can say that. In May, I started doing breath work for 10 minutes a day, and I also stuck with it. So now I do it almost every day, like most of the days I do it. I really, really enjoyed it. In June, I started doing my gratitude journal, and this was also one of the best things that I introduced this year, because it really does change your life. I used to do some gratitude journaling like self-made, so I would just write down a couple of things that I'm grateful for in a day, but it is not the same. Like I bought myself a gratitude journal with prompts, and I just really noticed a change. I have been noticing like that I pay more attention to nice things that happen to me during the day, because then I would have to write about it in my gratitude journal. Also, we do something similar with my partner. Like before going to sleep, we tell each other like the best moments of the day, like the moments that we most enjoyed, and it's sort of that, but it's also different like when you write it down. And sometimes when it's like just for myself, it also feels differently. And these prompts often also kind of help you set the intentions for the day, which I also found super helpful, because sometimes you can like manifest things into existence, but it's not really about like magical thinking and manifesting. It's more like you program yourself to pay more attention to things that are already great in your life and that otherwise you would maybe not pay that much attention to. In July, I it was my birthday month, and I knew that like we were having a trip and we would try new things anyway. So I decided to do one new thing every day. So I would maybe take a different route to work. It didn't have to be something like super intense. Sometimes I would like try a new activity. I tried some new sports classes. I crafted something, I think. So I just tried many different new activities. And actually, what stuck with me after this month is Pilates. I like tried a Pilates class once, and I loved it so much, and now I do it like 2 times a week, and it contributed to like the improvement of my relationship with my body in general. In August, I decided to devote like 10 minutes a day to dancing. I would just put on music and like free dance around my apartment, because I realized, because of Pilates, like how our body and mind connection is really powerful. And dancing, like shaking and just moving with the music, has immense power to shift our mood and in general like positively influence how we feel about ourselves. It made me feel like more pretty somehow, like more feminine, more sexy. I would like to say that it stuck with me. It honestly didn't. Like I'm not a huge dancer, although I like it from time to time, but like it's not something that I do every day, to be honest. In September, I was mostly on like I was on vacation for most of the month of September, so I didn't do much, to be honest, and I decided to just take a month off of this thing. In October, I did some like face massage program that was purely vanity directed. Like I wanted to look better. I don't know if I saw any results, but I try to like stick to it at least a couple of times a week now, not to like lose the results. And I think that yeah, it's better than injecting weird stuff in my face. So I will just leave it at that. And in November, I made one of the best decisions was to reduce my screen time. And I actually promised myself so many times to do that, but this time I was smart enough to talk to a friend of mine. Like when you promise it to someone, because if I promised it to my boyfriend, let's be honest, like I have no shame with my boyfriend anymore. Like I would just abandon it because I already tried that before. But then like it was a work friend, and I would feel more ashamed in front of her than I would in front of my boyfriend. So there is that. And in December, in the end of November actually, I purchased Ultra Human ring. It's the same as Aura ring basically. And I decided to like dedicate December to improving the quality of my sleep, the movement, and just like do whatever the ring says. It's just the middle of December now, so I cannot tell you the results, but I mean it's interesting, and I like monitoring my health. Anyway, so this was kind of a recap of what I decided to do this year in order to prepare myself like mentally and physically for the challenges of 2026, because I'm planning like a lot of big transitions in my life, and I wanted to take a year to like fully prepare, because you do prepare for a marathon. Like why don't you prepare for a big transition in your life, right? I can say that it was a really really nice approach, because really for a month you can do many things. As you could see from my recap, a lot of these things actually stuck with me. And I know that if I would try to do all of these things at once, like starting in January, I would probably fail. So, yeah, if you want, you can try it. You don't have to do the same things as I did. You can make your own list, but I really recommend you try like setting gentler goals for yourself if you want to set a goal. I would also aim at feeling a certain way by the end of the year rather than like checking certain marks. And also, very important thing, I just talked to my client about it today. Like, it's so important to celebrate progress. Like, if you set a goal for yourself and you met this goal, celebrate it. Like, go and pat yourself on the back and tell yourself how proud you are of yourself. Like, you cannot be too kind to yourself, and you cannot be too kind to others. So, here is for a kinder 2026. Let's all be kinder to ourselves, to our loved ones, to the world, to each other. We all need this. Let's do it. We always start with ourselves. When we are kind to ourselves, it's easier to extend it to others. I wish you all a wonderful holiday season, a nice transition into 2026. I love you all. I hope that you're doing great. And thank you if you have watched until here. See you in the next one. Bye bye.